Hi, this is Cyrus Wong, and today I would like to share a topic about some advanced topic in client-side technology in HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Something I would like to remind my students that is sometimes they omit or sometimes they will cause a mistake. And first of all, today we are not the back-end developer; we are front-end developer. We are only focused on the front-end technology. And first of all, when you were doing the web development, sometimes you will think, you will see the name and ID all the times. And just one of the reminders for you is that since some of the web framework will use ID, some framework will use name. So the simple answer for you is that just try to make a unique ID, okay, and unique ID in your web page, and also always fill the name and ID at the same time. Don't omit it since they some of you just want to make your framework on and front side or front back end both of the frame we got the same ID. And also, when you typing the your HTML, we it's something tedious and very complicated. As you know that this is some start tag, end tag, and then embed a lot of tag together. It's a repeat typing, and it will cause you to troublesome and also error prompt. And you can install a lot of built-in extension in your editor. Okay, you can use Sandcook for you to generate HTML body. For example, here we have some example here. For example, you want to with element, okay, element, and then an ID. You just tap it and then hashtag ID. You can write your HTML in this way. For cars is a dog. You can element div dog name and then your name, and then you have multiple classes. You just extend it and then two classes together, and then you got ID and classes, and then you have element embed in element. For example, you got the head and then a link, and then a table with tr and td. You just have the quite straightforward and easy to understand, and then you will expand the source code with the Sandcook syntax, and then you can got a UL and then with a ID and then embed complicate with a class, got the item, you will got this output. And you can have a plus it mean not embed, it's just throw append into the element p plus p, so to p, and then you can with the embed then plus you can got the two paragraph with plus class one and then class two is quite explainable, and you can have multiple if you don't want to plus and you just multiply by three, and you got three element. You want to have a list of three items. This is very useful, and you just got the name here, going for the ID hash name ID, and then you have a class item, and then you need three of them so that you multiply by three. And also, if you want to have a campaigning, okay, what is mean campaigning? You want to have the classes for it's like a variable 1 2 3 4 3 1 2 3 4 5. You just have a dollar sign here, and then you say it will help you to something like for loop to generate your ID one by one. And also for example, item is very useful for this kind of typing HTML. Since the ID of your option or drop down it, you will always have different ID for the static website. And then for the plus one you just mentioned before, you can got a UL plus, but it will be quite smart. If you just say plus, you know the UL inside is LI, and the table plus it will generate a table for you. DL is the list, and another type of list that you go data header and table body, and you will have a complicated one. Oh, you can got a div or ID page, and then inside this div we got another div called a logo with the class logo, and then we have follow up the div will append another element after it is UL here, and then the ID is navigation, and then inside the navigation is a navigation bar. You got file link is by li, and then inside the li we got the unit link here. This is save you a lot of time if you know about the Sandcook syntax. Okay, for HTML, this is a standard template. You have a standard template. For example, is quite straightforward. For the nowadays, we will put all the link about CSS at the head, and then also mention the character set in UTF-8, and the viewport is about mobile, and standardly we will have this header, and then we will move all the JavaScript in the background, behind the button. This is a guideline from Yahoo. Yahoo say that, oh, you should put the you should have the guideline. You try to put the JavaScript behind after right before the end of body element, and this is the template for your in general structure for HTML. And I just mentioned that ID need to be have unique within the web page. But if you have something we want to repeat it for your filtering or style, yeah, styles, you can have multiple classes and then append in different type of tag. You need to when you design a web page and HTML especially, you need to think about how to use a classes. You can use a classes for JavaScript and for style. It can let you to filter out your element based on the classes. Not about time, but ID. If you have the repeat the ID in the web page, you when you're writing JavaScript, there will be some unknown behavior between different browsers. So don't make repeat ID. Here is the his so-called CSS letter. This letter is that when you are writing CSS, the logic is you need to just pick up filter out. This is a filter. Okay, selector is a filter. You just filter out some element, HTML element in your web page. Follow different rule. For example, selector here is just header run. Okay, H run, header run, or header run, and then you with the filter you just decoration. You have different style and CSS applied to that those elements being filtered, and a lot of misconception for most of the students is that you not don't know how to calculate the CSS logic, the filter, which one will apply, which one will be more important. And then some misunderstanding sometimes is that students say that, oh, you put near the element will be have higher priority. No. Not in this calculation. You need to think about is we have the calculation logic. First of all, we have ID, we have classes, include some pseudo classes, and then tag element. Okay, element name h1, h2. This is not high priority. ID and class is higher priority, and then attribute. You may put into the some filtering of attribute, and then there's a lot of rules, but don't make too complicated. Normally we use ID, class, and tag. That's all. And for jQuery also we make use of the selector to for your implement the JavaScript logic, just the same as CSS one. And CSS rule is quite straightforward. You will override it. Okay, you will override. You got different rule together and then apply the filter, and then the rule have higher priority, and then you will override the decoration. For example, you have two rules. One is color in blue, one is color in red. Which the final element will be in red or blue is based on your CSS logic with selector here, and you should know the selector. But we have some specific calculation. A lot of people don't ignore that. Is the logic is quite straightforward. You can imagine something like Star Wars, and you just determine which CSS rule will be the winner, and then apply to the CSS element, apply into the HTML element. You need to have the higher specificity. This is some calculation, and then your style will be applied, and this is something called inner style, ID style, and class plus attribute and element. Let's explain it one by one. But quite simple imagination is that for Zaro, oh, the soldier is the reader's one, okay, and then the more stronger will be the with the seat, and then the ID one will be the we got the higher order. Okay, but I think the order here maybe have some reverse, but don't worry, just take a look to the next slide, okay? And this is a game like for the element selector, it's a very weak one. Okay, you just apply A as the selector it means it's very weird. But if you have multiple elements, for example, it means that paragraph and then A, okay, you have some logic. A paragraph with A, this two rule, the rule more specific, then this rule will win the single element one. However, if if the element have already just ignore it, this is some paragraph A, but inside the A one you got whatever so called one of the mention is a classes, then the classes will always win the soldier. How many soldier don't care, ignore it. 10 soldier, 100 soldier, it doesn't matter. Just run that law, you can win it. But however, if there is a class apply to it, and then also you have got another CSS rule is A plus a classes. This one we have one more soldier is stronger than him. And then similar logic, you have a paragraph, one soldier you mean paragraph, and then a inside a paragraph. If inside a paragraph or paragraph after it embed into it, a paragraph with a length and then plus a class is more stronger. But however, if in the case that you have an element and then you apply the element, for example, is a link got whatever one, whatever two. This is more powerful than all the below. And similar also, you just apply to one by one. For example, you got two element, two classes, I mean two soldier and two dark seed and two dark raiders, and then you win. But finally, if you use ID always is the most basic, since you can see what question for you understand it is, as you know that you can have only one ID in your web page, the unit. So you mention something unique for your web inside in on the HTML is the most specific. But logic is just repeat. You can have element, you can have classes, you can have classes element, multiple classes. But this is a very various. Two ID is I mean maybe you got two. You mean that you have element and element, one element and inside an element, but both of them got the ID. You just apply two ID one, ID two. Then this rule is very specific. So the specificity is very high. You will be the winner. And be honest, be careful is that we are talking about we don't use the style on the HTML element. You can put the style, just type a style tag and then type in the CSS value, CSS setting. It's just something you try to prohibit. Don't do that. If you do something inline and also mark some important, it will break the rule of this specificity. But we want to make something like just apply the style, so be consistent all over your web page. So don't use inline style and mark important unless it's something very very special cases. For CSS, for the web development, since the problem is that the default font size or color or setup between browsers, Xperia, Firefox, Chrome will be different. The default font size, default value is different. So for the web designer, they say that okay, let's normalize it, just reset everything. Okay, just reset it, clear it, or remove all the style inconsistencies, or just normalize, make all the browser look very similar. This is some web framework, so-called normalized CSS or reset CSS, to try to make the multiple browser style be consistent. So when you did before you create your HTML, you try to remember to add this one. But for more easier for you is that just use some web framework. For example, Bootstrap is very very popular. We just use Bootstrap. Bootstrap will already normalize and reset all the style so that it will try to make all of the web browsers so very similar output for you. We are, at this moment we are talking about mobile first, since user well everyone got the mobile phone smartphone, and they will visit the website mainly on mobile. Mobile users more in the, as you know, iPad mobile is the case. So we want to have the responsive web design. If responsive web design is mean that different web different width and different height of different on different screen size, it will have different layout, so-called responsive web design. And it is something very complicated for you. It's very difficult, not so easy. So the solution is that try to use framework. Bootstrap is your highly recommend for you to learn it and use it. It will help you to solve a lot of problems. It will define the different monitor size, different device size, and then it will train the layout, train the size automatically. And suppose is that if you try this bootstrap, you want to modify bootstrap, is allowed since you can modify bootstrap. But you will see that if you want to modify bootstrap is not a simple CSS. It is using the beta CSS style. This is using a compiler tell you to write the CSS with a lot of front features, something like object-oriented style. For example, you can have variable, you can have variable here, and then you replace here, and then also you can do something very interesting, looping, if then else, and also inheritance makes sense. Is you can apply advanced OOP object-oriented programming language construct and free concept in your CSS design. And but don't worry, since most of the time you will not train the source code, but behind the scene it is a compiler, so-called less compiler or SAS compiler to help you compile your CSS for the output. People may sometimes have a thing about JavaScript and Java. Is this the same? No. That's like this is very good explanation. Java and JavaScript are similar to car and carpet. No relationship, just a name. Okay, and Java, and also you see the name Logan. Logan is no just a name, the same, but they have no relationship. And some meme is here, the programmer between JavaScript, Python. You see they were very happy, but this is very hard topic. JavaScript is very complicated programming language. I will share about some reminder to you and something guideline to you on the coming slide. First of all, expression and operator. It's something like in every programming language you need to have some operator and the different order when you evaluate a expression for calculation something, you need to evaluate boolean or something. You need to have the order and then which one will go first. But this is you need to be very careful about the equal setting or not equal setting here. This is very tricky. You can see that the double equal uses empty string 0 false, 0 empty string true, 0 empty 0 true. This is a lot of hidden type conversion, very difficult to debug and make trouble to you. And try to don't use double equal. You need to use triple equal or triple not equal, and then plus that. You see that this is something like the Christian. God is the Son, Father is the Son of God, Holy Spirit. It is you don't understand. And also for JavaScript, you have empty string 0, 0 string in string value tag. Don't you will never know what's happened. Just a simple solution. Don't use it. You triple equal and triple not equal. Yeah. Sorry. This is a type of JavaScript syntax. Don't write JavaScript on top of HTML. Here is a hack about the semi-rom in myspace.com. This is a history. Oh, some in the history. Some make a semi-rom. Semi-rom is a hack on the social network so-called MySpace, but it's disappeared already. And since MySpace using Java allow user to write some JavaScript embed in CSS. Okay, just something like the screen here. You got HTML and then it puts something. The hacker Samuel just writing something very interesting JavaScript. Day by day he found that other alert is working, and then the background alert is this one not working, this one working, and then the inside is allow you to have this kind of input, and then it increase that, try to increase it, and then make the call. Finally, this is the output of the JavaScript. He just set the style and then URL, and then the URL is in JavaScript, and then here is the JavaScript. Finally, Sammy got all of the fan. He he got a lot in the day, the 20 hour. He nearly whole of the social network become his friend. Uh, so um, the guideline is that don't write JavaScript inside HTML. You need to how can you write JavaScript? Use this style, and we will have a lot different styles. For example, we can have jQuery, you just extract the JavaScript into another file. Just select the element, use a selector, get the element, and then write the JavaScript. Don't embed JavaScript in inline style. It since especially when you allow people to input something, remember, remove all JavaScript, remove all CSS. You are supposed not allow them to write CSS in JavaScript will be better. Um, for scoping is a very complicated topic in JavaScript. Since JavaScript is different from other programming language, for example, Java, C Sharp, C, or there's different since they have different scoping logic. What is scoping? Scoping of variable is that the variable, can you use the variable or access a variable is a scope. Okay, for JavaScript, the scope you see here, you can have they are using function scope, not normally bracket is a scope, not the open bracket and close bracket. You can access the variable from X, Y, Z here, function inside a function. This is the functional programming style. And you need to, you will save the variable at this moment when it is calling it. It is something very complicated. Just take a look to this example. It makes use of the technique so-called closure. Closure, don't worry too about it, but just a recent example. When you have a function here, you can return another function. Since you can functional programming instead, you can use a function as parameter. Also, you can return a function at a value. Okay, just return a function. You build a function. You write a function. That's build a function. You can have something like store variable, like some very similar to all programming. You need a classes. For Java, JavaScript. There's no class concept in the past, but later version there's a class logic. But you want to write a class, something like a class, something like an object. Object will keep the data. You will write this kind of style. So example, you add the file. File here will be snapshot, have a copy of x equal to file, and then return a function. File will be logged and saved in the program. So add the file will keep x array file. Add the 10 will keep x array 10. If you call it call the function add file. Add file, it means the right here, and then 5 plus 2 7, and then add 10. And 10 you return a function. Here is 10, and then add 2, and then you got 12. This is the way of JavaScript to keep a variable like writing OOP object. This is their design. This is so-called function scope. Okay, a bit difficult. But I need to. This is the way of writing JavaScript. Since the functional scope in JavaScript is by default, you use function as a scope, not a with the open bracket and close bracket. This is not working like this. It will with different logic. It is something called hoisting behind the scenes. When you try to write this kind of program, you put a variable I here and then loop it, and then after you call the j, you will find that j is still here. But if you're writing other programming language, for example, you're using Java or even Python, yeah, you will, after you loop out of this paragraph bracket, the variable j will disappear. Okay, but for JavaScript is not. This is something called hoisting. What happened behind the scenes? Behind the scenes is that variable hosted, it will automatically help you move the variable to the top. This is what something behind JavaScript before it run. It will always move the JavaScript variable to the top. So if you write the variable here, you'll find that, oh, since it's already moved to the top, you can access j here. Since this is not a function, this is not a function. If it is a function, it will have the functional scope to scope the variable, but it is not. Since you have this problem, you will always see the variable. For example, here a, b, c, it got two variable. But when you write something like that, it is behind the scene. It will define two three variable for you. Move ABC to the top and then set ABC. This is what this is what JavaScript is doing behind the scene. Every program, every line you write and you move it, and then you don't want to corrupt the well. Okay, remember, if you have something like that, it will always corrupt the window scope, the highlight scope, or the so-called global variable. Just think of global variable. You will always corrupt the global variable. If you don't want to corrupt the global variable, you will have this kind of syntax. Just write a function, and then the function calls it so-called is called create a function and then call it immediately to scope down the variable so that it will not corrupt the val. Okay, this is the reason why you see a lot of JavaScript in this style, because of the variable will move to the global, then will corrupt all the program. Yeah, don't write this syntax. You write var a b, it will expand to the var a equal and then call b. B is no var there. Okay, without the var, it is very, very dangerous. It will move to the global scope, the window scope, and very, very a lot of problem will happen. Don't write this syntax. And remember, function is also a variable. Everything is a variable. You write a function through, it is a shortcut. It will become a variable. Function through become a function through a variable through. So when you call a function, actually it's expand into this style. Undefined first and then divide. Since the hoist is able to move to the top, so the guideline is that you try to do everything at the top. Also for scoping, it is very, you see the hoist as the variable I here. It will corrupt the I and then give you a unknown bug. So be careful with that. So that's the reason why in the latest or latest version of JavaScript, you will not use var anymore. Be careful. Don't use var. Is important. And if you unsure or you know some var variable or function, use old style. But my recommendation, don't use old style to write your JavaScript anymore. You let your arrow function. Don't use the classical way. And just if you need to stick to the old version, you need to always put everything at the top of your program. Declare the variable. Now here is the example. Oh, you got this function here, and then you call it. You found it's very interesting. It's able to call it right. The function is just after me. I can call it, but there's some strange behavior. Since you call your function here, it will expand it into move to the top, and then you are able to call it. But you will feel, wow, it's just crazy. So if you is not hosted, it will undefined, and that's the reason why this behavior is very problematic for you, and don't rely on it. Don't, especially if you're doing something looping to create function, is even more problem, even more dangerous. Here's some sample code. You found that, oh, I want to create a function, a loop. Yeah, you can. Since function is something like type. Function is a type. You can have something like integer, flow. Yeah, it's something you can put into memory. Functional programming function is a type. You can just create a function, send it to other place to as parameter, as return value. Just send it anywhere. So you can create it. If you create a function and put into an array, due to the hosted behavior, this function will always move out of the for loop. Okay, move out of the for loop, and you will have a lot of string behavior. At the back end, you expect 1, 2, 3, but you just got 3, 3, 3, and so prevent this problem. You let and don't define function in a loop is best practices, as not a good idea. This code will not working if you in a for loop using var. Since the hoist problem and the function will move out of the scope, and you got the problem. But the right one is that you see that here is the for each function. You can't loop the element like that. You just use it for each function, and then since the function scope functional scope will not hoist it. Since it's inside this position, it will work in this style. That's the reason why you see a for each function. Be careful. My recommendation is just be careful when you define anything in JavaScript. Some string thing you think about the scope. Scope is different from other language. Using let is important. You don't want to have this kind of problem. Just let it. Let it will resolve a lot of problem. You let it, you will not see the secret outside. If you write, you see it. But it's a typo. It should be a let, not a ra. Yeah, just this one is a let, not a ra. Sorry. And you use a let, it will have a scope inside the program, no longer out of it. Okay, this one should be a let. If you let it, it will have a reference error. If you let the problem, is a reference error. Okay. Let's continue. And for the scooping, if you write, actually this is a window object. For every web. For HTML, it is a window object. Just stick to the window object, where so-called global scope is window object. We really don't want to corrupt the global scope, since the JavaScript is a very complicated one. If you always corrupt it, is not a good idea. And you write it, you will find something with string, and that's okay. Okay, and remember the global scope you run to any program to include it. So if you see the programming, you always see the JavaScript. If you write a JavaScript and then download other people writing JavaScript, you will see that is the first line and the last line is this one and this one. This is because of it want to prevent the corruption of global scope of every programming logic here. This is so-called envy, immediate invoke function expression. Is like an IIFE. I forget how to say it. Envy or I forget. Yeah. Also, we recommend using the use strict mode in your JavaScript. If you don't enable the strict mode of your JavaScript, it will have some problem. For example, you forget the var, forget the let, or you divide P1 again. It should be wrong. And also, if you enable strict mode, it will give you an error. For example, variable here, you call it here hoisters. The hoisters problem will also give you syntax error. And a lot of cases, eval is something very dangerous. Don't use this syntax. It's very dangerous syntax for running JavaScript. You will eliminate some JavaScript problems. Since you enable strict mode, it will also improve the performance. Try to enable, but in the case that you don't want to enable strict mode for whole of the web page, just part of it. Since some of the script is not written by you, maybe by other, they are not using it. When you enable it, it will have error. So we also use the envy again. Just write a function and then put the first line here, and then inside this scope will be stricter. Will improve the performance and also avoid the problem. For JavaScript, every function is already return something. Even though you don't return something, it will return an undefined for you. So when you write a program logic, be careful you notice this case. You just don't return, but you will got undefined at the back end. Oh, JavaScript for baby. I don't think baby can write JavaScript. This is really very hard topic. But you see the syntax here, define function and call it. Wow, so complicated one. In the logic is that JavaScript is something called asynchronous programming style. It is not blocking. You will write something so-called callback. Callback is something like you go to Starbucks or Pacific Coffee, you buy a coffee, you got a ticket, got a number, and then it will call you back. For callback, it's quite straightforward. This is you input a function so-called callback. When you do something, after 2 seconds, it will call you back. Just something like go to Pacific Coffee, you got your coffee. When someone told you your number 104, and then 104 actually is the callback. Yeah, and then you get the coffee. This is the logic of HTML, this is the logic of JavaScript or latest programming language, or make use of this kind of style, so-called callback. And this is become asynchronous. don't have the loop. Oh, but you see the program here. If you have multiple asynchronous operation, you will try to have multiple callback. You will have a very something like a Christmas tree style. You will got a very deep arrow here, and then you will hard to follow your programming construct. Is not working? You will die. You will die immediately, and then just give up and error prompt. So, what is the solution? It depends on the browser, okay. But nowadays you have two solutions, but this one is already working one, okay, already working one, and maybe the classical one now or this. Since we have another now, you will use something called promise. Promise will help you to have something called resolve to handle callback. You have something okay path and not okay path. Okay, okay and not okay. Okay, when okay, call this function. Not okay, call this function. You just implement your function to return a promise. When you new a promise and return okay and not okay, for the as the callback function, you will see that I'll add 1 and 2, and then I return a. You need to provide a function for me. Okay, here resolve is the function. You write a function in line. Okay, this is the function. This so-called arrow function. We write arrow function. We will have the syntax mentioned next slide. It's just a shortcut of writing function, a better way to writing function. You will hoist behavior, and the 1, 2, 3, 4. You will call it one by one under the asynchronous programming style. You see the difference is here. The same function, but the syntax is much clearer. The logic is a promise. You got a promise. Then, if there's an error, you will catch. You will see the problem here. If there's an error in one of the steps, you will catch it, and just follow this path. You can handle the asynchronous program calls straightforwardly. And you need to learn about it since a lot of programming languages and make use of this kind of syntax. You can use async and await. But this kind of hook is more easy for you to write it. Okay, remember async, await, just wait for it. Don't have to then wait for it. Error also await for it. But from my experience is that I always forget to type this await. If you forget type it await, it will return the value to you immediately. It's a promise. Okay, it's a promise, and then you will very difficult to debug. So remember, check your function call. All of the function call, remember check it. If you notice this function is a asynchronous function, you need to write your callback. You remember to add a rate. Yeah, otherwise you will debug a long time. A lot of time for me to debug JavaScript is forget to type a rate. Always remember async, but for other programming languages it's much better. If you're writing C# or other language, if you just start async and then you forget a rate, it will give you a compile time error. But for JavaScript, it will not. It don't need to go through the compiler. Compiler will not. There's no compiler for it. For TypeScript, maybe some warning for you, but this is still not necessary to give you an error. Remember. For nowadays you can have different can each one array says we need to check about the browser version. But I think this is more general one. This is since the ESX is already well experienced and every browser support it. Yeah. To improve your code quality, you need to have some tools. We will use something from the founder, the creator of JavaScript. Okay, this is the creator of Donkers Crawford. I don't know how to spell. How to say it. But you can use a tool to help you to take care of the problem. Since it's very dangerous, you accidentally have an enter. If you help you add a semicolon, this is called the sentence, and then this function will always return undivided. Wow. If you are a developer, you debug, you're very difficult for you. Very difficult. So you use a better to once the JS link can detect this type of error. Okay, and using it, just enable it in your CI/CD pipeline or set it up in your Visual Studio Code. Use it. For JavaScript is running inside a so-called event loop. You mean if something very interesting, I can on click, on drag, and then something will write. I can on something, it was something asynchronous. But there is no asynchronous in the world. No asynchronous. Just someone help you loop it. Okay, just someone help you write a photo to continuously to check is it anyone kick it, anyone jack it, anyone type something. This is so-called event loop. And don't try to run something really long time in your event handler. Okay, remember, if you want something really taking time, for example, you on kick it and then you block the program for 5 seconds, the browser will stop as the event will be is blocked by you. When something happens, you may just on kick something. If it take time, you just run another async operation. Promise. Or using background worker, you have something like household background worker, do it as background. Don't block the on kick function. This is a bit out of date maybe. Since in the historical reason, if you're using Internet Explorer, there's a reverse logic, so-called buffering. What does it mean of buffering? But you still need to know about the concept of buffering. Since you have the structure, for example, D1, D2, D3, you have multiple depth, and then every div you implement an on-kick event handler. When you kick it, but you think you know that you kick on the inner one, it's also kick on the outer one. Okay, you kick on the red, also kick on the blue, also kick on the green one. Since you have three handler, all of them you run logically. If you don't do anything, when you kick on them, all of them 3 times, it will run together, one by one. But the order is so-called buffering logic or capturing logic. Different browser with different behavior. Some for the case that don't want to stop the buffering. Also, we want to know the order. You need to call the APIs. It's calling you. There's a reason why you see the JavaScript. See people is always called e dot stop propagation or e dot cancel buffering. It's depending on the browser. But now no more Internet Explorer. It's just stop propagation. It will prevent the buffering on kick multiple times. But which one will be being kicked first? You need to check about your browser. But now it's quite simple since all of the browser have the similar behavior since they are inside it. They're using the same kernel, using a comb. Okay, the comb is similar to the comb. Buffering or capturing, you see it for IE. We will go down first and go down up. But you can see the demo, use the website, test it, and then you if you want to stop it, just stop propagation. There's something to remind you. There's those answer for what how can you use buffering or capturing. Just depend on your design or your source code. You want to capture the event at the smallest errand or bigger one or the outside one. Just everyone have different just do that. Just mention to you that don't write JavaScript inside HTML. Don't write JavaScript inside HTML. This is something very, very dangerous action. You see the semi worm, yeah, the MySpace.com being hacked, and we want to have the separator, the layer. JavaScript is for action. Okay, there's logic and action. HTML is just a display. CSS is just how can it display that in the style or presentation, the way of presentation. You don't want to extract the logic. Just write the JavaScript like that. You could keep it actual element be a very simple and clear, and then you when the document know that when you're using jQuery whatever framework, you just get the element out and then set the on train for with the function here. Remember, this is no bracket. You don't need to put the bracket. If you put the bracket here, it will call the function immediately. We are not call the function. We are want to give the function as a variable to set it to the on kick when on kick call this function. That's all. Finally, we want to suggest something you do. You try to use CDN if you're using some web framework. For example, Bootstrap, jQuery, very popular framework will be hosted in Google or different very large cloud provider. When you're using CDN to download the latest file of your website, for example, jQuery, Bootstrap, this is the latest JavaScript library in your website. It will much faster if you're using the Google CDN. You can download more file and also able to cache it. Since your website may share the same version of library and with another website. If they go to another website before they will cache it in the browser. It will not load, so we will increase the chance of cache hits. And also, if you have the payload is as small as possible, yeah, okay, it is a it, and then reduce the amount of time. You see the bandwidth for Google is much faster than your server is so much faster than Google one, and then also they have a lot of data center all over the world. It will take the least one for it to download the data. And finally, it is a slide about the injection attack. I just mentioned you before is that don't write and don't use eval. Eval is something very similar to what I mentioned here. There's a system call in PHP. You just write a command, run a command in PHP. Oh, then people hacker will do something very dangerous input here to remove the system. For example, here they just put the capture the password, just replace the full well, just replace the setup here, and then it will get all of your password, delete your hard disk, remove your file, hack your system. Don't don't run other language. Or remember, don't use string to build you build your script and then run it. Since the user will inject something in your variable and then make the unpredictable output. No eval, no system call. This is a guideline. Okay, thank you.